It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America. We are Red Eye Radio. I'm Gary McNamara. He's Eric Harley.
Hi.
All right. You want to hear from Jimmy Kimmel from last night?
Okay, I guess.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right.
Here we go.
Almost every liberal I know suddenly really into Bad Bunny. I mean, people I've never heard say the words bad or bunny in their lives. Like, I can't wait for Bad Bunny. Oh, what's your favorite Bad Bunny song? I don't know, but I love him.
Or the go-to, all of them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. That's right. That's what Michael Bolton said in Office Space.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Michael Bolton? Are you related to him? What song do you like? Oh, I don't know. All of them.
All of them.
Oh, when he sings "When a Man Loves a Woman," it can't get better than that. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Call me Mike. Now, some people were trying to bring Donald Trump into all of this yesterday, the president. You can't. Come on. He's a Village People fan.
Clearly.
Don't bring the president's music is not like anything we really are into.
No.
You know, he uses it at the beginning and end of his rallies.
Right.
And when he spins tunes at Mar-a-Lago, he spins the Village People.
Yeah.
So let's just keep Trump out of this discussion to begin with.
Yeah, I don't see him doing the Trump dance to Bad Bunny.
No.
Or Kid Rock. It's
Kid
going to
Rock.
have to be. It's going to have to be the Village People.
I am Kid Rock. God, I hate that song.
Yeah.
I will say this though: when I was never a Kid Rock fan at all, except when he did the song where he had mentioned Skinner and stuff like that in there. And
Yeah.
I think don't they sample? Doesn't he sample a little bit of it? I think
It's that and Werewolves of London mixed, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the tune.
Right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was okay. But when I watched, this goes way back. This goes back probably to, I don't know, early 2000s when they did Behind the Music on him, and I realized what he had to go through to get where he was. I went, whoa.
Yeah.
So,
Right. He started out playing Waffle House.
when you when you see the backstories behind how people made it, I'm always fascinated by that.
Well, I love a good success story. You know, quite frankly, it doesn't matter whether I like their music or not.
Yeah,
I'm still. It boggles my mind that Taylor Swift is a billionaire, but it's not for me. It's none of my business.
Oh, by the way, you and I are both fans of the Rick Beado podcast.
Oh yeah,
because he's just really, really good.
Beato, Rick Beado. You got to follow him on YouTube if you like.
He's really, but I like what he's been on over the last couple of months. Music sucks now compared to where it used to be, but then he explains why.
Right, he
goes through
He goes. He's a music professor,
right?
And he's taught, he's produced, he's been in a band. He knows everything of how music is made. He teaches a lot. He's got courses, and so he can tell you, why it is. All right, look, if you go back to, whatever era, he doesn't go back to any hair bands very often. And there's probably a reason. But the closest thing he comes to is, he had Wolfgang Van Halen on.
That was
great.
really good.
That was
really good.
Wolf is unbelievably talented. He's just got it and you could say it's in the blood, but honestly, you do have to also learn it.
But he seems to be somebody.
I don't see any of Arnold Schwarzenegger's kids being Mr. Olympia. You know what I mean?
But
you still have to do the work.
He also seems not to want to repeat what his father did wrong.
Well, it was interesting. He had one of his new prototypes of his guitar company that his dad started, the Wolfgang, EVH Wolfgang thing, and he had one of his new prototypes. And Rick noticed there was no bar on it, a whammy bar, which you can, and his dad, of course, would do, incredible things with the whammy bar. He could make his guitar sound like a horse. He used to do that quite a bit, Eddie Van Halen. But he doesn't use one. Wolfgang doesn't use one. And so, it was like he's a completely different player. His music is completely different. It is. It's very good. It was a very good interview. But that's the thing that I like is sitting down and you can talk about it. I don't have to be a fan. I don't have to, buy the music or listen to it on Spotify or whatever. If I get a greater appreciation, for the work that's put into it.
But I do like how Rick Beado just actually when he said, because I'll see it come across on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's like, why today's music sucks.
Yeah.
And I burst out laughing, but then I have to watch it because he just doesn't say, I don't like where he'll explain why. He'll talk about, chord structure, note structure, how songs are written, what they're about, everything else. He always makes a strong case.
Right.
Really does.
Right.
I may not agree with everything on it,
right.
but he makes a very, very strong case. And he actually knows music and researches music and says, here's what's wrong with this. Here's what they don't do.
Right.
Here's what you don't get out of music of today from the pop music.
Yeah.
Because he really, not that there isn't good music out there, but because I listen to a lot of good music that exists right now, but it's not pop. It doesn't have a mass audience to it at all.
Well, if you think about there's many different sides of music or the effects of music, but there's storytelling. Then there's also just putting a pop song together. Just putting to be catchy, a catchy tune. And then there's the emotional part of it, like, whether it's a ballad or not, all these chord progressions and everything else. And he'll break it down and say, this is why this is interesting. They did this here instead of just doing this. And when he sits down with an artist and they talk about the making of it, and it's usually stuff that I've heard, for years. I may not be into that artist as much. Like I was never the biggest Pink Floyd fan.
Neither was
but
I.
David Gilmour just gets the sound out of a guitar that Gilmour gets, just like Eddie Van Halen. And that's another thing.
And you love his politics.
Of course. He and Mr. Waters are right there. They're just genius. But it's when you think about
it's Roger Waters, right?
Roger Waters is the
he's in that case.
I mean, Gilmour too is also on the left, but
okay.
but the outspoken one is Roger Waters.
Who's the anti-Semite? That'd be Waters.
Yeah, Waters.
Right? Is that Waters?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one accused of being, and he's bat soup crazy in interviews. Yeah. When I see him, it's just like, whoa.
And the ironic thing is, I'll attend a Roger Waters concert when pigs fly. So anyway, but when you break down, the songs and one thing I learned as a musician, when you're learning and other musicians talking about it, like if Eddie Van Halen could pick up in the day any guitar and make it sound like Eddie Van Halen, and Nuno Betancourt was talking about this from Extreme. He also plays with Rihanna. I think he played at the Super Bowl with Rihanna, right? And great, brilliant guitar player. And he said, I picked up Eddie's guitar, and it didn't sound like Eddie. I couldn't make it sound like Eddie. It sounded like me because, and that's the thing with Gilmour and each of these, Clapton, you can go down the entire list of different musicians and also different instruments. I recognize it because I play guitar. I also play drums, though. And there's another channel, Drumeo, that is instructional, but they'll break down a song, the drums they did Alex Van Halen songs. And Wolf played them. Wolf's also an excellent drummer. But when you talk about, again, the signature sound, it comes from the way that person plays, and then those people together play,
But it's just, if you ever want to see it when, somebody just says, because usually you get it, today's music sucks. You're just an old codger. You don't understand.
Yeah, right,
and it's like, well, that's the difference in our generation because we were exposed to so much music. I started thinking, though, when you look back, because when I look back to I was listening a couple of weeks ago, stuff from 1970.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's 56 years ago.
Right.
That's like in 1970 listening to something from 1914.
Right.
Which shows you the advancement of music.
Right.
But that's one thing that is missing, because Beado, I think, talked about it. I saw him talking about one time. The singer-songwriter is really gone.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, and it was funny. I don't know if he mentioned it, but I heard it a couple of months ago. I hadn't heard it in ages. Harry Chapin. He was a storyteller.
No, I was thinking Harry Chapin when I said storytelling. Yeah, I was thinking of him.
He was a storyteller, and it's like, didn't even matter. You're listening to the story.
Yeah.
Cats in the Cradle. My son turned out
Jim
just
Croce.
like me. Croce.
I mean, that's, there's...
But even people like, Carly Simon, whatever, even James Taylor, as much as I'd never bought any of their records, but I would listen to a song and there was a message and a story which was being told.
Right.
You don't get that a lot these days.
No, you don't. And, he also breaks down, he'll say, here's the top 10 on Spotify. And if there's something, a lot of it is, garbage, but if it's a good song, he'll say, that's a good song. That was done very well. It sounds good. He's not thumbs down on everything new. Again, for me, there has to be because you go back to the pre-Pro Tools thing in the digital age, and I was, as a voiceover artist, I was working with the very first version of Pro Tools. And I remember how great it was and how it's great today in producing music and everything else. But putting everything together, actually crafting it together from not just the group or the artist, but also in the studio, mixing it, the producer and the mixer, sometimes they're separate people, doing what they do to get a certain sound out of a band. I had a 45-minute long conversation one time with Butch Vig about Nirvana. And we were talking, and I was trying to get my computer running again so I could just have him record, hey, this is Butch Vig, and you're listening to the station I was working at. And had I been recording that conversation, it would have been a great podcast because he told me everything. He was telling me everything of how he was getting that sound for Nirvana. And that's a craft.
Yeah, I love the one where he produces the Foo Fighters album.
Yeah.
And it's the documentary on doing it in the garage.
Right, yeah.
And doing it not digital.
Right, right.
Doing it analog.
Right.
Yeah, but something about him, his band is garbage.
It's a true story and accurate, yes. That's actually why they were in studio. They were at the station. She was on the air, and Butch went down the hall with me to record what we call liners. And the software that I used was the same software that he used, but my computer had crashed, and we just had a long conversation together.
All right, more billionaires moving out of California.
Oh, boy.
Or at least purchasing very expensive property outside of California.
Yeah.
We'll tell you who that is coming up next. We are Red Eye Radio.
Brought to you by FPPF, Fuel Power Max.
Smart owner-operators make every single week as profitable as possible. One trip is not enough time to be considered profitable or unprofitable, and an entire month may be too much time to manage. 1 week is the right amount of time to deal with efficiently. To do so, look at the advantages and disadvantages of every day of the week. Match trip length to the optimum day of the week. Plan to deliver on the day you have the best opportunity of getting a load. Your personal weekly plan will vary depending on the weekly delivery flow cycle of your region, typical length of haul, personal requirements, and other factors. What's important is to have a specific weekly plan that helps you be successful. Owner-Operator Business 101 is provided by Overdrive's Partners in Business program. Go to overdriveonline.com to the Partners in Business section of the website for more details on this and many other topics. Brought to you by Shell Rotella, with advanced synthetic technology is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Here it is, Wall Street Journal. Mark Zuckerberg and his wife, Priscilla, are the latest California billionaires to buy a home in South Florida. $150 million home.
Wow.
And so the question
So they're
is...
living in a tiny home.
Wow. They just reminded me. I got to get the story. You know, the average home in Seattle is $907,000. There was a...
Wow.
I forgot who did the story. I got it in my pile here. And it was about, the Super Bowl. Seattle won the Super Bowl, but your economy isn't great. And talked about how they went from being, in 2017, the number one place to do business, where now I think they're like in the 40s of states.
That's where Bezos was living till recently. Yeah. He moved to Florida.
So Zuckerberg's moving. So the next thing is, well, is the company going to stay?
Yeah, right. Well,
or does he protect his own wealth, his personal wealth, by making that his primary residence? I don't know.
I think you have to, if you're going to do it for yourself, there has to be consideration. I don't know if he will, but there has to be consideration for your shareholders, right? About, is it profitable to stay in a state like California? I mean, that's going on every day. These corporations are looking at it, and they do have a responsibility to the shareholders to determine whether staying there is better than leaving. And again, at some point, you won't be able to afford to stay, whether it's yourself or a corporation. And I think that's what we're seeing more and more with these corporations and billionaires. And, Florida's, getting a boost in their economy. $150 million home. I don't know what that buys you in Florida, but I'm guessing it's a nice one.
Yeah, it looks, I'm looking at it from, this has to be from Google.
Yeah.
Looks really nice.
Yeah.
See,
Good.
Another reason why I wouldn't want to be that rich.
Oh, what?
A home to me is not something that has 30-foot tall ceilings.
Well, there's this thing about cleaning that I have. Because I know at that level you've got, I don't know how many staffers full time. It's got to be, but I'm still the kind of guy that's walking around going, oh no, I need to pick this up and clean this up,
but I would hate that.
Yeah,
I would hate having people all around me.
It would be
from
like,
the time that I woke up until the time I went to sleep.
It would be like living in an office.
Right. I don't want a staff.
Right. You know what it would be like?
Gary, you're a billionaire. Here's your staff.
One. You're living in the world's biggest bed and breakfast. It's like, I don't even like that idea of a bed and breakfast. No, give me a hotel, thanks.
Catch Red Eye Radio live every night on the Red Eye Radio app, available in the App Store. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Download our Red Eye Radio app today. You choose when you can listen.
And thank you.
Zuckerberg moving, and so the scuttlebutt will be, what's going to happen now?
Right.
Is he going to move his corporate headquarters to Florida?
Well,
is the next question.
Right.
Is he trying to limit his personal liability with the possibility of the billionaires tax coming in?
Then again, it's only a $150 million home. For him, that could be a, summer home.
I would hate that. I would hate the lifestyle of having a staff and employees. Sir, your breakfast is ready. Get out of my house. Leave me alone. Let me have my coffee in peace. As soon as I wake up, sir, here's 5,000 updates of what's going on in your company.
I
Sell all my stock.
I actually, experienced that to a certain degree. I remember, here's your breakfast, setting it down in front of me. And I said, listen, can you just leave me alone? She said, you're at the Waffle House. You're in our house. Mind your manners.
Yeah,
I don't like the idea. I
couldn't do it.
I don't like the idea of being famously wealthy.
No.
That is a new kind of danger, new kind of threat altogether.
Even though one of our listeners once thought that we were both billionaires.
Right. Please, we're trillionaires.
He was incorrect in that.
We're the world's first trillionaires. But I would say this, with Facebook and the tech companies are all reevaluating. One of the things that's happened in the last week on the stock market is the realization that writing software, these companies that focus on software companies are realizing the AI game. It really freaked them out for a couple of days.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like the AI game is changing everything. A couple of them pushed back and said, no, we'll still be, part of it and the whole thing. But, this is I remember the Amazon, one of the Amazon C-level positions. He may have been the chief technical officer. I forget who it was. But he was on a call with employees and saying that if you're someone who codes now, that's going to be done in 5 years. This goes back a couple of years. And that is true. AI will be doing a ton of that work. And so if you're a tech company, which Facebook is, along with all of their holdings, the entire Meta brand, if you're looking to keep your place in that, in that world, in that universe, then you're going to have to look at all expenses. And you're going to have to look at, again, where that takes you. Because if AI is going to come in and replace a lot of what you do and provide, then, because I still don't know what the effect of social media will be, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if AI is creating, a different type of presence that gets your attention, and then social media just becomes a thing of the past. Oh, only old people are on social media. AI is communicating with you in a different way. They're actually seeing that. A lot of people are having AI chats with themselves. I mean, them and the AI bot. They're just going back and forth. And if that's the new thing where they don't have to worry about anybody else's opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And social media the appeal of social media starts to die off, and people just go, basically become more secluded in the tech world. I'm talking about the user, the average user. Then you have to reconsider what it's going to be like going forward, because influencers won't be influencers at all. And you're really going to have to produce something extraordinary for people to get people's attention. That's just one thought behind, again, the future of any tech company like Meta, which is Facebook, and Instagram and everything else. So I think they would have to consider where they're going to be, what state they're going to stay in, and the regulations. By the way, the left is also part of, hey, we want to, we need to break them up. I mean, some on the right have done it too, but the left really wants to break up these big corporations, these big tech companies. We need to break them. They have too much power and blah, 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 blah. So moving headquarters has to be a consideration. I don't know if it'll happen, but that has to be right now being talked about.
And looking at our very expensive West Coast update, California's already sky-high gas prices. This from the California... This is from Valero telling the California Globe their high gas prices are expected to surge after Valero abruptly shuttered its refinery amid the spiraling oil crisis, a new report claims. Thermal imaging showed the facility went cold as the Crimson Pipeline, which transports crude oil from southern to northern California, was taken offline. California gas prices expected to soar. We're in an unprecedented oil crisis, said oil expert Mike Ariza, told the publication. Valero announced its plans last spring to pull the plug on its 145,000 barrel per day refinery by April, a move that is expected to send fuel prices, but they did it early.
Yeah.
They already pay the second highest gas prices in the nation, only behind Hawaii. In January, the average gas price, $4.23 per gallon. What did they expect was going to happen?
Yep.
What did they expect?
Yep. That's the way it was always going to go down.
It was always going to be that way. I look at things that are just sort of duh. The headline right behind it, not that we're going to get into this one, but it's like Brandon Johnson admits Chicago saw a 30% drop in homicides after Trump crime crackdown began. It's like, well, yeah, don't defund the police.
Right.
Yeah, don't say we don't want oil and we wish to defund oil and we want oil out of our state while your whole damn state runs on oil.
Yeah.
Then this article. Seattle won the Super Bowl, but the economy has gone from boom to gloom. Here it is. More than 35% of office and retail space in downtown Seattle is vacant. The metro area as a whole is weak. Joblessness, 5.1% last November. Region has lost 12,900 jobs last year, the first annual decline since the recession in 2009. It has the highest inflation rate of any major metro region in the country, with consumer prices soaring 29% from 2021 through 2025. Housing prices through the roof, with the median, I said average before, the median price of a single-family home, $907,000 in December. Wow. And as this is from National Review, they write the explanation is clear. Seattle now punishes job creation with a minimum wage of $21 an hour and a payroll tax on firms with payrolls over $8 million. In 2022, the state enacted a 7% capital gains tax, and Washington Democratic Governor Bob Ferguson just proposed a 9.9% income tax on millionaires. Seahawks players, who each will collect $178,000 bonus for winning the Super Bowl, would be affected directly. It includes a jock tax that would sock both home team and visiting players based on their duty days spent in Washington State.
Wow.
Critics say a 9.9% rate would harm the competitiveness of Seattle-based teams, since Washington would move from being one of 9 states with no income tax to the one with the 8th highest rate on pro athletes in the nation. Wow. In 2017, CNBC ranked Washington as the nation's top state for business. Since then, it has fallen to 41st in business friendliness and 48th in the cost of doing business. We live in a day and age when you have Democrats, liberals, populists of the Republican Party that still continue to deny that increasing the cost of doing business is a negative.
Yeah.
They still, for some reason, believe you can increase the cost of doing business and make an economy better.
Right.
They preach it consistently, and anybody with basic concepts of economics knows that isn't true.
Well, it's, and ultimately the goal, the agenda, the drive is for the government to take more of that capital and to punish the business, to cripple business, so that eventually the government can also take over the means of production, which is communism. You do it over and over under the guise that the people will benefit from it.
And then this. Winter Olympic athletes fight against fossil fuel while using gear and travel reliant on petroleum. 2 days before the opening of the Winter Games, Nikolai Schirmer, a Norwegian skier, handed the International Olympic Committee a petition signed by more than 21,000 people, many of them professional winter athletes, including some Olympians. The Ski Fossil Free petition is demanding that the committee develop a report on whether fossil fuel marketing is acceptable in organized winter sports. You know what these people need to do? Watch Landman.
Yeah.
Talk to Billy Bob.
Well,
By the way, Billy Bob's, he goes, this isn't political. He goes, what we all learned is these people say get rid of oil. You can't do it. It's insane to do it.
Right, you can't.
It's in everything. And even he has a monologue in Landman where he goes through talking to the one lawyer saying, she's like, oh, wish everything could be windmills.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about?
Right. Exactly.
What in the world are you talking? He just goes through it, and he continues to talk about this. He goes, this isn't political. It's reality of what we use.
Right.
And it cannot be, there's nothing that can replace it. And if somebody's telling you you can replace it, they're lying to you. And then he goes through all the, the different products. And we've gone through it, the hundreds and hundreds of probably 50% of everything that you use has petroleum in it.
Right. Yeah.
In some manner or form.
Well,
maybe
again,
even more.
Right. And it's, pick a bad guy, pick a bad industry, whatever it is. But when you do the math, when you actually know how things work, that's another thing in keeping people ignorant. This is what indoctrination requires. Make sure they don't learn a thing. Because if they, heaven forbid, become petroleum engineers, oh my gosh.
I did see an interview of every actor I've seen that's in Landman.
Mm.
They said, what was the one thing you learned? They said, we had no idea how this business ran.
Right.
We had no idea how dangerous it is.
Right.
We had no idea the work that goes in to ensuring that this nation runs.
Well, the one thing that Taylor Sheridan knows, he knows ranching, but also now as I think he's the primary owner. There was a group of investors that went in, but he's the owner of the 4 Sixes Ranch, which is multiple businesses, including oil. It's ranching. I think there's a couple of ranching, farming, oil. I don't know how big the oil business is on that ranch, but being raised on a ranch, he knows, and in Texas, he knows how important it is. He knows, and anybody who learns anything about it realizes, my gosh, we require this. We need this to sustain life.
We are Red Eye Radio.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Just got this response to that story we had about the Swedish skier who wants to have the skiing no fossil fuel thing.
Yeah.
Wrote to us that athlete protesting fossil fuels when their entire Olympic journey was funded by their country's massive sovereign wealth fund from oil and gas profits.
Right. I mean, they again, this is virtue signaling and not thinking about the facts at all, not caring about the facts at all. I say you should give up your Olympic dream. If it's being funded by fossil fuels and you're against that, then don't participate, right?
Yeah.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.